bitch. Okay. It seems like everything is working just fine here. All right. Okay. We are doing part 1 of 2 when it comes to this particular topic. Now, I'm sure all of you probably already know the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores has already come out. So we already got that, right? It's been trending, which was pretty crazy. It's actually been trending. It's been trending a lot. And if you know me on Twitter, right, then you would already know that I am a huge advocate for Guerrilla Games and by extension, Horizon Forbidden, for just the Horizon series. I love that shit to death. I do. But what is the reason as to why I love Horizon Forbidden West? What is the reason? You want to know what the reason is? What's going on, Shadow? You want to know what the reason is as to why I like Forbidden West? It's actually the sci-fi elements. When I was a kid, I used to love the Terminator series. Goodbye. The fuck? Hold on. Hold up. That was weird. That was wild. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay, I think it's good. I said, shut the fuck off. It said, shut up. All right, so where did I leave off at? So when I was younger, one of the things that I loved a lot, right, was just technology in general. I was always that weird kid when I was younger to trying to figure out how a VHS worked. I just needed to know these things. I needed to know why computers work the way that they work. One of the things that was really cool as well was it was like in the 80s. They had this show called Small Wonder. And it was about a robotics engineer that made AI essentially, built into like a body that resembled a little girl. And the AI was supposed to learn and help kids out that had learning disabilities. And it was just a comedy, actually. It was just a cool concept. The point that I'm trying to make here is that I am really a big fan of anything technology. I've always been this way. And the story for Horizon Forbidden West has all of those elements. I was always curious to know, I like robots, I do. I love robots. That was always a thing. Robots are absolutely something that I love. The storyline for Horizon, the universe itself, involves AI and machines and technology. So that's the thing that drives me forward. One thing I don't typically like in games, just love interest, things that they like, all the way down to, it's not like platformers or adventure games anyway. So that was never a thing that I really cared about. In general, never really give a hell about the story. I can live without the story. When it comes to like friends and love interests, I never was a big fan. Fast forward to the recent events, I believe it was yesterday, where Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC has come out. And there was a leak that happened. And I want to touch on that leak, right? The funny thing about this leak is that people are considering this a leak. Spoiler alert, it isn't a leak. It's just two bitches kissing, really. I don't particularly feel like that has any, that's not a leak. All right, let me get you in here. Hold on, Shadow. If you can say something, Shadow, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yep. You're cool. Mm-hmm. You're cool. My Bluetooth just disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
I I am a big fan of Horizon. I've been already saying that. There was this controversy about this kiss, about Aloy. She's always been like, she had these lesbian vibes, or at least at the very least bisexual vibes. She just looked like she couldn't be bothered with men. Anyway, she just couldn't be bothered with men.
Okay.
Everybody was hitting on her. Everybody.
Everybody in the game was?
Basically. You had this Mr. Clean looking dude. He was hitting on her multiple times. There was a king that was hitting on her. And she didn't necessarily turn him down, but she wasn't showing interest in liking the characters either. Because the storyline was like, damn, like there's an imminent like extinction happening. I don't have time to be worried about relationships. So I can't worry about that. So that's the reason why the developers went out and stated that we don't want to do a relationship or any kind of romance options. But then I'm assuming that the developer had an issue with this because people consistently said that Aloy was a boring character. She was annoying, she was boring, and then the whole game was boring because of that, which devalued the entire game. You know, you have these artists that comes out there, right? And they make these machines, these horses, these dinosaurs, and how they would animate and everything the hell else. And it was all reduced to Aloy. The AI was like top tier. The graphics was top tier. The storyline and its lore, they are juggling 3 different timelines. The past for where we came from, the future, and then the people that's living there that don't know what's happened. And they're juggling all 3 of these things. And just, it's always about Aloy. She's boring. I don't like that character. She looks like a man. All this shit was very irritating. Very, very, very irritating for a person that...
I can't hear you if you're talking, so...
All right, can you guys hear me? My bad. This shit is going crazy. I'm gonna keep this phone near me because this shit is acting crazy. All I'm saying is this, right? Because I think this is an issue with the phone.
Is he talking? Or...
Yes, he is. I'm very curious.
Can you hear me, JT? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I was talking, but this thing is acting up. All I'm saying is this. I know I'm running on and on and on, and I apologize for that. I really am. All I'm saying is this. The people who makes the Horizon, the biggest fucking problem with this game series is that it always falls down to Aloy. She's a boring character. You know, no one likes her. You know, she's very...
Do you like her?
No, I don't really like her, to be honest with you.
But this is your game.
Gameplay is always a thing, you know. I like the game, and I like the concept of the game, and I like AI. That's what I was saying earlier, and just technology talk. That's what I like a lot. When I was younger, I was a big fan of technology. Anyway, so it's weird. The storyline is rich. It's rich. You know, with 3 storylines or 3 timelines that's being juggled: the past, the present, and the future, all at once, right? And people, and then you have the artists that will create these dinosaurs and kangaroos and all this other crazy shit to make it fit into a world, and people will sit there and relegate the game to Aloy and how boring she is. And then they would say the entire game is boring, which is annoying. You know what I'm saying? So the developer already stated, because she had different love interests in the first game, she didn't have time to be fucking around with this shit because the world was going to end, you know? So the developer said that they baked that into the game just in general. But then with all the backlash happened, Elden Ring and all other shit, people still said that Aloy was an annoying character. Well, now you're presented with this weird thing as, well, what do we do to make her more appealing? It's like they tried to make her into a mascot, and she was rejected as a mascot. She was literally the redheaded stepchild of Sony's studios. For whatever reason, they couldn't stand this chick, which is weird. So, what I mean by brownie points and developer brownie points, I have a particular. I don't trust Sony. I don't trust any corporation, but Sony in general. I mean, I don't. I told you before, Shadow, a long time ago, that I don't even want black characters to be somebody that's shooed in just because they're black. I don't like that. I don't feel like you should make characters like if you have to think to yourself, this group is marginalized and I need to make a character because of said group is marginalized, to me that is already compromised and is forced. That's my particular problem. Now, JT, yeah, go on. My bad.
What?
My bad. Go on.
So first things first, I just want to make it very
You sound
clear
like super. You sound like super echoed, like far.
Yeah, it's because of the room that I'm in right now. I'm in a warehouse, so forget that. Sorry.
Okay, go on. I'll try to bear with it.
I'll try to fix it in a moment. But essentially, not here to accuse, not here to say anything. Just want to have like an objective conversation, meaning we get to a conclusion that is good. That doesn't mean we agree, just a good conclusion. I want to make my intention very clear. All right. I want to start by just responding to some of what you're saying and also throwing some definitions out there that are objective and not subjective. Subjective is opinion, right? I'm not here to argue or debate anybody's opinion. You can think Aloy is the most interesting character. You can think she's not interesting. That's irrelevant. But what is relevant is the characteristics that was written with this character and what was presented through voice acting and interacting with other characters. They've never said this character is asexual. Asexual is someone who has no form of interest in having a love interest or sexual interest with anybody, male, female, or otherwise. But one thing that is very apparent through playing these games is she is an introvert that is focused. And even in the first game, you get a little bit of hints. She's not really into men, right? But at the same time, you could also attribute that to her being introverted and focused, which match her characteristics, right? She's open. Her entire world was opened up when she found that little earpiece, right? That's objective. That's a part of the story. That's a part of who she is as a fundamental character, period. Going into the second game, we saw this chemistry with this character that we see her kissing in the DLC. Plus, we see her character development grow as she is now not only trusting other people, but leaning into them. She's not the one just doing everything, because realistically, it is impossible for the mission that is at hand. So not only has she now started to develop multiple relationships and friendships, she is learning to be a bit more open while still having some of those introverted characteristics. So I understand your premise when you say, I don't trust corporations and how they use token black people, token gay people. I get that. But if there is no basis in the reality of what this game has put out objectively, then why is that being a part of the conversation?
You can always be wary of something that hasn't happened or hasn't happened yet. That's not far-fetched. The thing is, right, as you mentioned, Aloy is an outcast. She wasn't with people. She wasn't allowed to talk to people except for Roust. That's the only person that she had. And in the first interactions that she had with people, they shunned her. They treated her like shit. They threw the rock at her, and she didn't like that. So she was always a lone star, right? And it's not that she didn't have a relationship with people. She did have some sort of compassion in general. You know, one of the people that she had with compassion, and she, you know, there's two things with her. She's introverted. She's a genius, right? And then the other issue is that she can't communicate with the people because they fucking flat out, or they're not dumb, but they're ignorant. They think doors are fucking gods. So if she knows more than the normal person because of the focus that she found when she was young, and on top of it, she has the genetics of a genius. So like when she tries to open up to people, they sound ridiculous anyway because she knows more than the average person, you know? So at first she was kind of like a sassy chick until she realized her purpose, which was overbearing. You know what I mean? So she was super focused in the second game. She definitely didn't have any fucking issue, no time for nothing. And she thought that she could do it alone. And then she tried to do her best to bring people in it. And then, you know, people could get hurt. Now I'm not going to spoil it. And then that's what she's trying not to do, drag people into it. And then she has to wrestle with, you know, her origins and where she came from and what her purpose is. She figures out that people are really trying to be, you know, kind of stand by her side and really try to help her, and she could relax. You don't need to take all the burden. At the end of Horizon Forbidden West, not a spoiler, you see her getting a little bit closer to Aaron, the Mr. Clean looking dude, a couple of times. You see what she said. There was 3 choices with King of Ide. You know, whether she could be an asshole and be like, I don't have time for this shit. And then she's mentioned to him, like, I don't have time yet. I gotta do this. Now, that's ambiguous, and that's what the developer originally started off with anyway, right? Is, you know, being ambiguous with her because they didn't want to overcomplicate the situation. But now the developer is at a point where people just consistently don't understand that Aloy is a fucking introvert, and she's been fucking alone for most of her life. You know what I mean? So she's going to be super awkward. And she's smart on top of it. So the only time you really get to see a decent amount of the characteristics of Aloy is when she meets her match with Silence, when somebody is actually smart. He's the only person that can kind of challenge her. But there's a couple of times where it seems like Aloy in general is attracted to people that are intelligent. She did the same thing with Merlin that was in the desert, where he gave her the fucking mask gear and stuff like that. And she kind of, there was a little bit of chemistry there, just a little bit. But then also she seems to be more on the lesbian side than anything. I think she's bi, to be honest with you. But that's neither here or there. My particular problem is, like what you adequately put, token minorities. It's irritating when companies do that shit. I don't think that you do a service. The second that you think that you have to do this because they are not represented is already like compromised to me. It's like, oh, I have to put the person in there because no one else is doing it. That's how I feel about it. And coming from now you, or from the Shadow, you're from the LGBTQ community, and I'm a minority myself. So
I'm a double minority,
right? But I don't do all that. But like, I will say this, I'm like minority to me. You know what I mean? But I will say this. I don't like it, at least for me, that you're just that corporation shoehorn. Because at the end of the day, this is why you get football teams, right? Like coaches that seemingly is all for, you know, putting, you know, the minorities up, but then you hear later on that they're getting fired because they were like nigger this and nigger that. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem genuine to me.
That's a false equivalency. We're talking about sexuality.
So if I could say something, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
No.
I'm trying to get to the root of the problem. I'm not trying to hear all that extra shit. I'm gonna just keep it 100.
Right? So we've acknowledged Aloy's past.
Hold on, wait, JT. Let Shadow speak.
Oh, I can't hear Shadow.
I'm trying to get to the root of the problem. So my thing is that, right? Why was it an issue that Aloy's character, quote unquote, developed by her kissing another woman?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's gotten lost in transition. It was annoying. You know what I'm saying?
How's it annoying?
Let me finish. It was annoying that it got mixed up the way that it did. I didn't have a problem with her being.
What makes it so mixed up that she's attracted towards another?
You're not listening, and you're not listening. It's not has nothing to do with her sexuality, which is what I'm saying. That's mixed up. What I'm stating is that the conversation got mixed up. I already knew that Aloy had bisexual or completely lesbian tendencies in general in this world. I already knew that from the start, from the first game. But the developer said 2 things. They said that they didn't want romance options, and here we are. which kind of raises an eyebrow for me. And number two,
the developer probably changed his mind, so Aloy can have more personality. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, but you don't try to. That's not how you make. That's not the only way that you make a personality. She's a very complex character in general.
Can I please speak on something? Because I wanted to respond before we even got this far, right?
Now I want to get to the far part.
Yeah, get to the fun part. I just want to really make something very clear here, right? So just put this into perspective, right? We've acknowledged the character's lore. I want to keep this about the game as much as I can because I just want to keep it a buck, right? We've acknowledged her lore, her background, her upcoming, her characteristics. These are all objective things that you can analyze within the game, not what somebody thinks about her, right? These are objective things, right? We've seen there is a potential chemistry with very few of the guys, but definitely there was a little bit more chemistry there with the female in particular, with the woman in particular that she ends up, I guess, being in a relationship with.
That's what I just said. Yes,
and maybe maybe it's the way you're explaining it, and we're not picking it up, right? Because, like I said, it's not about me accusing you. I'm just trying to understand, right? I don't understand how her pursuing someone that she clearly had some form of chemistry with is being shoehorned in gay.
Now I'm going to
because
I'm going to answer.
I just want to say this as a caveat to that, right? Someone posted a tweet in response to a conversation earlier, and they literally said, "You wanted King Von," or let me read it so I can have a word for it. In fact,
King Goodbye to Smash and her to be queen of the Meridian. Yes, and I put a smiley face. I'm joking. Relax.
Okay. I'm not.
Relax.
Don't tell me to relax because I am relaxed.
No, because you're adding more to it, and I can say what I want to say.
I'm not adding more to it. And here we go with the power trip. Shadow, you go ahead and you take this because I'm trying to have a conversation, and I'm not about.
No, I know, but you're getting up. Because you're getting upset about you're calling something out.
Upset. At what point
so my question to you is
and now you're
so my question
Shadow take it.
My question to you is, why did you bring up the fact that I sent a smirking face to that comment? What was the relevance to that? All right, Shadow, go on.
Okay, so this is funny. Okay, so my thing is
point exactly.
Hold on.
A motorcycle.
My thing is, and me personally, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to get you canceled. I ain't trying to do all that.
I don't give a fuck about cancel shit. Really I'm going to say what I want to say, but go on. Yeah, I get you. Go on.
Oh, no, for sure. It's your space. It's your mindset. You could think and say whatever it is the fuck you want to say. That's not my issue. My issue is that, certain ideas, certain narratives, can change between a certain character, a certain antagonist, a certain protagonist, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I get where you're saying when it comes to Aloy's lore from a surface level standpoint, but it shouldn't necessarily be an issue if she decides to pursue a different interest within the game. That's what I keep
telling everybody the same thing, and people are taking away from it what they want to take away from it. That's the annoying part. I never said that there was an issue, especially since I already stated that she seemed like she was a lesbian anyway.
Oh, okay.
So that's never was the issue. My issue is that I don't want a corporation to just basically just say that I'm going to double down on this because I don't know how else to make this character interesting. This will be a controversial topic to make her, kiss a girl because I don't know how else to make this character interesting when she's already interested in first. She has a lot of complex things going on in general. And it's like, that's my particular issue. Just like for instance, right? The same issue I had with Forspoken. I didn't particularly like the fact that, I don't care if she's a black character, but just don't try to say I'm going to put a black character in there to try to get brownie points. That's my problem.
Oh, so what you're saying is that corporations are using
Minorities and
sexuality
minorities.
for okay, so they're using minority like issues and or statuses to gain extra, let's say, interactions, clout, and get more sales to boost up, the game's popularity and morale.
Yes,
Is that what
that's
you're
right.
saying?
I can't
Okay,
prove
so
it. I can't prove it.
no, well, I can prove that. I mean, I can prove it too that that's not the case necessarily. But at the same time, like, okay, let me just keep it 100. Games has been doing this shit for fucking
In
years,
movies and
okay?
music.
Horizon Forbidden West, okay, facts. But you could tell that it's coming from a genuine place and is not meant to inflict, to harm other people, or to create woke status or woke culture. You could tell that that is genuinely their character or their narrative about
Anyway,
certain
yeah.
characters within the game, in movies, in TV, and things of that nature. If that is how the developers and or writers, EPs, producers, directors, if that is how they want their character to be, then that's how their character is going to be flushed out as. Okay, and this is from way back when Mass Effect 3, came out. Shepard, there's a choice to where you can sleep with the same sex.
Yeah, and then also,
before that conversation.
Bully,
you don't have
and
to.
Bully as well. This is back in the PS2 days. Bully had a character where you could romance a guy or a girl. And that's all the way back then.
Oh yeah, you can. Oh my god, I remember that.
And that's one of my favorite games. I didn't explore that option, but like it didn't matter. And
but here's my thing. It's a choice for you to experience it. You don't have to engage into that. Just like with that cutscene when Aloy was kissing that girl, there's
a choice. There's three choices.
Yeah, there's a choice as well too. That's what somebody else said, that there's a choice to where you can interact with that. You don't have to.
And you're right. You're right.
But that also doesn't mean that that company is trying to push a narrative on other people.
But here's what I was here's what I'm saying, right? I never said that they were. I'm saying that I'm afraid of them doing that. And this is
they already did that today.
No, I get it, but hear me out. The other issue that I had, I was trying to explain to JT, is I am more interested. This is selfishly. I'm more interested in the AI and the Zenith people anyway. I don't want that main story to take a back seat. The same thing with The Last of Us, for instance, right? I never wanted.
It's not taken away from the main story.
No, I'm not saying this is all preemptive, right? Like for The Last of Us, right? I was interested in the mutations more so than the relationships. That's just me personally. I've always taken a scientific approach anyway with certain things. Like
the relationships is not taking over the core aspect of the
again, it's preemptive. You see.
So if I guess what I was trying to say to you earlier is that if it's preemptive, right, then where is the weight coming from with the fear? If the character is proposed to be presented in a genuine way, which is kind of the gist everybody is getting in the first place, and she's not a shoehorned in gay character for the sake of gay points, right? Then where is that fear issue? Because no one's going to dispute, right? Just like earlier, corporations do this. They do this with black people. They do this with gay people. They do it with any type of minority group, period, right? But if that is not what the case is here, and the reason I was bringing up the tweet from earlier was not to bash you, but just simply to say, would this be a conversation if she ended up pursuing the interest that wasn't meant?
So this I would like to do.
Like, it's not taken away from the story. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying.
It's not affecting gameplay.
No, well,
it's just a part of who she is because the directors chose to go that direction and not give you options as if it were Skyrim where you can marry whoever you want. What is the problem?
There are options, but you keep saying what is the problem? There isn't any yet.
He told us the problem basically.
Yeah,
corporations.
It's just corporations in general. You're saying what it's not corporations to me they have the propensity to do it. That's my particular issue. Not a problem. It could happen, but again, I'm more interested in the sci-fi element to it anyway. And then sometimes you get, you know, situations where you have like rich stories and they choose to ignore all of the background of the story to do something else just to say that, oh, look at me, I'm doing this. I'm not saying that it's happening.
So can I ask for clarification? Because I think I understand another point you are making, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, for example, The Last of Us. We focus on the people aspect of the story and not the science part of the story, because that's the directions that the directors wanted to go. Where you would like to see more of cordyceps and less of Ellie and Joel's community and what's happening to them with people, right? Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's a selfish. That's a selfish thing in general.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily a selfish thing. That's just what it is with an art medium. You have things you can pick to relate to and pick to have interest in. Some people have interest in all of the above. Some people pick something in that particular art form to focus on, which in your case may be the science of it. It could be the game. It could be whatever, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. That's not selfish. I'm going to make that clear right now. What I am also going to reinforce about Horizon and what it does, right? There is lore kind of sprinkled everywhere, and that is the focus of the story. And it seems like Aloy's life has taken a backhand for it for the most of it. And I don't think, if anything, this new relationship, whether it's canon or not or whatever, is even going to take away from the focus of what's going on. I think it's just her development as a character that, hey, life is still going to go on whether y'all are successful or not, or maybe it's going to end when y'all unsuccessful, right? So she's starting to maybe live a little bit, you know what I mean? Because she
hasn't been able to live at all, and it's part of the, like I said before in the chat, right, or in the thread, I was like, bro, like, they literally said that and things could change. That's fine. No one's getting mad at things changing, but they said that they baked that in, that they didn't want romance options. That's what they said. And then,
but I would argue romance options versus a character being who they're interested in, right? Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil, for example, has had a love interest with multiple characters, right? There's been some chemistry between him and Jill. Not Jill, my bad. Oh my God. There's been chemistry between him and Claire. There's been chemistry between him and Ada, and there's been chemistry between him and like his partner in Resident Evil 6, Helena. Right? But obviously the directors have chosen his core love interest is Ada Wong, who we originally met at Resident Evil 2, right? So it's kind of like that love interest that happens there doesn't take away from the story or science of Resident Evil, while it is also a part of it. I feel like Horizon is following in good footsteps in that exact same way. Even if we start to see a little bit of development with this relationship with her, or anybody else for that matter, just like with the entirety of the second game, which is evidence of their direction, she's developing whole ass friendships with these people, but is not taken away from the technological and science aspect or sci-fi that is this game and this genre. We have not lost a smidget of it. In fact, we've gained more, because now when she has conversations with these characters who she's developing a relationship with, they're coming to her with shit they learned about. Like the musclehead dude, right? He's talking to her about all the different sporting stuff and shit that he found interesting when he was going through the history and the logs, because he was getting familiar with the focus. So like the whole what if thing, I get where you're coming from, but the evidence and the history that we have with this developer and with this game is that it's not a problem.
So this is going to be like a multiple, like, okay, so I'm not going to keep this space going. You know what I mean? This is kind of like to give more context to what I was saying before, because it was just kept getting lost. It was frustrating. And a lot of the times, especially on Twitter, people would do this stupid ass thing where they would sit there and be like, oh, you have a problem. You're a bigot. Oh, your masculinity. You're a beard neck. And it's like, damn, you can't even have a regular fucking conversation with people just automatically just taking this shit to like 11. You can't even start the conversation, and it's annoying. So that's why I responded the way that I responded, because it's like, oh, it's so people are so quick to claim that they're liberal, right? And that they do whatever you want to do, and to turn around, you really can't. You know, you got to think like me, or else. I'm going to call you all sorts of crazy ass racist bigots and all sorts of shit. That's the shit that irritates me. And to be so reductive to sit there and say something and then along the lines of, and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying this, the casual conversations online is it calling somebody a bigot immediately because people want a different part of the story, or they want options. You know what I mean?
The options is already available in the game.
I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying in general, like as an overall kind of conversation.
So I want to respond to what you just said because I want us to like kind of concrete that point as well, right? I understand entirely on social media and in general, there are people, whether it's politics, right? I don't care about liberal, conservative. I don't give a fuck about any of that, right? They don't even want to hear you out or respect that you have your own subjective thought or opinion. But right now, in particular, like with the conversation we had, right? Like I told you, I'm not accusing you of nothing. I'm not calling you a bigot. I'm not calling you any of that. You can feel how you want to feel, and it don't mean you are any of those things. But I feel like that's a contextual thing per the person that is doing that. You get what I'm saying? And more specifically, right? Just like with assuming, right? You thought I was upset, and then also with like another thing that I would say, right, is me saying what is the problem? I'm not. In my way of speaking, I'll gladly clarify because I understand we don't all come from the same cloth, right? When I'm saying what is the problem, I'm not necessarily saying you're saying there is a problem, but more so, what is your point, right? And I'll gladly clarify that, but at least give me that opportunity to clarify my way of speaking. That when I'm saying, well, what is the problem? Because clearly she's not a shoehorn, she's not a token. This seems genuine, right? Unless you have evidence that says otherwise, unless you have evidence where Sony was like, yeah, make her gay. And they was like, all right, the boss.
Well,
like,
before,
you know what I mean?
Well, let me add this. Let me add this too, right? Because you were bringing in other things that I said that you probably read and then commented on to reach the crescendo as to what I was saying. And then you responded because you brought something in from another thread on Twitter.
I'm talking about the main.
I'm going to answer
the main thread, but
no.
I don't really think y'all really understand. Coming from a gay man's perspective, I don't really think y'all really understand. But go ahead.
Understand what?
Understand what this context really even is in about in this quote unquote fake outrage.
Oh, I already stated off rip early that I never had I don't have an issue. I'm hoping it won't become an issue. Is really what I'm concerned about.
Okay.
So I've already said that a long time ago, like in the early stages. Okay. And there was a lot of people that were just like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Why are you worried about it?" Well, because that's the fate. That's the wave.
Confused. That's why.
Not you. No. Not you. It was other people that were saying other things. We've already talked before. We talked about this particular subject in general. You were just wondering what the hell was going on because it was a lot of shit going on, but like there was other people.
No, I knew what was going on, but I'm just trying to figure out why is this a big thing? Like y'all act like y'all never seen two bitches kiss before. I mean, y'all seen it on porno. Hello, y'all like
it's college years and everything. It's not that. I like I said before.
No, it's adult years. Y'all in y'all upper 30s, lower 30s and shit, and y'all still like to watch lesbians bang each other. So I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what's the issue. But no shade.
No, like I said, I like the technology portion of the thing, and I don't want it to take a back seat. But looking at how corporations are operating right now, it's the wave to tackle like minorities and everything like that, and it's just a bit tiring. You know what I mean? It's like I'm curious to see if the next new IP from Sony is going to be another fierce woman again.
Okay.
That's what I'm curious about.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a protagonist that is a woman or that is a quote unquote fierce. I don't know where y'all get that from, by the way. I'm very confused about that.
That's what Guerrilla Games called Aloy. So.
Well, okay, but whatever. No disrespect to you, but okay. But there's nothing wrong with having a woman. Hold on, there's nothing wrong with having like a woman protagonist or a strong protagonist that is a woman or a protagonist that is also a part of LGBT. There's nothing wrong with having that as being a marquee for a video game. What I'm also saying is that just because you see LGBT, certain signs in a video game or character development that is of that, or that is a woman, that is not pushing an agenda. That is not shoving shit down your fucking throats. If anything, it's just a video game to where that character's lore is that alone.
So let me say this, right? Because everyone wants to relate to something, right? I can't relate to a gay. I can't relate to a gay guy.
You can't relate to being a lesbian,
and
too?
I can't relate to being a lesbian. No.
Oh, but you like to watch lesbians fuck each other.
But I say relate in terms of an everyday, day in, day out type things. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy what you see. I can't relate to a fucking hillbilly either.
Well, you play games that you don't relate to, like just like a fucking Call of Duty. I can't relate to Call of Duty because I'm not in the army.
And I get it. But that doesn't mean. But that doesn't mean that doesn't. But that doesn't mean that you have to just continuously play or interact with things that you can't relate to. It's just, sometimes you.
But you play. You finished
Horizon. That's my series that I like for a lot of different reasons.
Right, so you just played a game that you quote unquote can't relate to.
No, I didn't say that. I'm talking about characters, not a whole game. I'm talking about characters.
Well, you just played a game for a character that you quote
No,
unquote
I played
can't
a game for the gameplay and the story.
But you control one character.
You can be a machine or a car. What am I supposed to do? Relate to a car when I play Gran Turismo? I mean, like...
That is controlled by who?
I'm controlling Aloy too.
Aloy?
I'm controlling Aloy too when I play Gran Turismo. I mean...
But you don't...
But that's false equivalency as well, as you know.
No.
That's false equivalency, and you know that.
It's not even an equivalency, but you literally just said that you can't relate to...
You're saying that I can't... You're saying that I stated, which I did, I can't relate to a certain, like a female character or whatever the case is. I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is. I can't relate to having. I'm not talking about overall. No, but listen though, I'm not talking. I can't relate to someone having a period or a coochie. I don't have one. Either of them. Mm-hmm. I can understand it, which is what most people do when they play games. They can understand, but they can't like in terms of how it really feels. No. I don't understand why that's a problem.
Wow.
It is what it is. It is what it is. There's certain places, there's places you can't necessarily relate to in their cultures. That can happen too.
There's plenty of women characters that I play on the day-to-day. There's plenty of male characters that I play on the game on the day-to-day. Some I can relate to, some I cannot relate to.
But you can understand,
but that
right?
Compromise my judgment as me playing the
saying
game,
that it should.
That also does not diminish my knowledge of that character's lore.
Okay, and you can understand the lore, but relating and understanding is a little different.
You just said that I can understand the lore.
You can understand the lore, so but you being okay, so you trying to understand how it is to be a dog. We can get it, but we're not dogs, So there's some things that we won't pick up everything. We can understand it and enjoy it, like fucking Stray. It's a fucking cat. I can't relate to being a complete cat. I don't know what it is, but I can understand. What is that like some sort of cardinal sin to say that I can't relate to certain things, but I can still enjoy it? I don't understand I don't get it.
So you can enjoy Aloy, right? Being a lesbian?
I have never had a problem with it. We already know that.
Okay.
That was never the issue. What I don't want is artificial she's always been like that, right? I just don't. I went there.
Okay. Can I say something as also a black man here, right?
Can you relate to Aloy being a lesbian? First of all,
no, I'm not a woman. I'm not a lesbian.
Oh, okay.
And I can't even claim to understand it. I don't have a pussy. How could I? But
okay, I was trolling.
No, you good. You good.
Go ahead.
So there are characteristics that you can relate to and understand, regardless of how much is one-to-one with you and that character. So I'm going to get that out the way right now. But the big thing that I do want to touch on right now that is a little bit frustrating here And that is the whole aspect and idea of when we talk about representation of gay people, black people, etc., right? And it being shoehorned in, tokened in, etc. And this is not about no gotcha, no none of that shit, right? Let's just keep it a buck. Historically, those people, our people, have not been represented like that in media, period, right? If someone's going to token us in and it's disrespectful and it is not a proper representation or it is a stereotype, I can give you an example. Dead Island 1, the black character, for some reason, his parents were fucking crackheads. I still don't understand why the fuck that was a story thing for him, right? But that's something I take an issue with. Cool, we got a black dude, but why the black dude gotta be a rapper and also his parents, his mom was a fucking crack mom who had a crack dude? Like what the fuck, right? That's something that's worth talking about and mentioning because that's actually problematic to representation. But I feel like in this conversation with Horizon, where she's not a token gay, is not shoehorned in, why is it even? And that's why I say to you, like, it's not saying you have a problem with it, but when there are actual problematic representation, why is it that when we start getting good representation, it turns into, oh well, I just don't trust corporations.
We have so many. We have so many bad representations in general. You know what I mean? So you want to be a little apprehensive.
But this is the thing, though, right? So not everybody can.
I don't want them to fuck up. Okay, that's all. Like again, I think I've made my point repeatedly.
That's too easy though, right? But hear me out though, right? Not everybody can cook mac and cheese. That don't mean everybody who cook mac and cheese is gonna fuck it up. So if somebody is representing a character right, let's just be happy that it's being represented right? And because we have a bunch of characters that are not represented correctly. And it's
look, JT. The thing is, it's not about the represent. But this isn't about a lawyer, whatever. I don't know how many times I got to explain this.
But that's not what I'm saying.
I really don't.
I'm not saying.
I know. I get you. You're saying.
You're saying.
No. I get what you're saying, but you're mentioning something specific, something different. I'm just saying. I'm trying to express what I was talking about in that thread. That's basically what I was saying. I don't have a problem with it. I just want them to continue on with the story and it naturally progress. Not her, just the story in general.
And the story is going to progress by her having a girlfriend. I think
the story is going to progress and she's going to have a girlfriend she cares about. And if she dies, she's going to go beast mode. So, like, hold on.
As long as they keep the Zeniths, as long as they keep the AI doing this thing, as long as they do all that, I'm cool.
Oh, for sure.
So
I think
the main game.
I think that's what I've already said. I've never had an issue with it because she already was presented as a person.
I'm not saying you have an issue
that was leaning that way anyway.
I just want to make that clear for the 10th time. I'm not saying you have an issue with Aloy being a lesbian, but the fact that you brought up that there are corporations that don't represent us well, if they doing good, let the nigga cook. That's all I'm saying, right? If we got some black characters that stand up black characters, let them cook. We got people that's gay, lesbian, whatever, and it's being represented well. I can't speak on it, but maybe
video games for years.
Video games let them cook, and it's been happening for years. And you did.
So like, let me ask you a question really quickly. Let me ask you real quick. This is just a thought experiment. If Sony for the next 5 years, and of course, there's going to be somebody that's going to be like, there's no problem with it, right? Mm-hmm. Sony for the next 5 years produced 10 IPs, and every single IP that they've produced is a female and is part of the LGBT. How would you specifically feel about that?
Okay, can I ask you? I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to ask you a question in reverse of that, okay? That's fine. No, Shadow, it's cool. First off, I'm not going to have a problem with it. But now I got a question for you. How long have you been gaming?
About 30 years.
Oh.
So you've been gaming for about 30 years. Go ahead and throw it in the truck for me, boss. So I'm gonna hit you with this question, right? Because this is one that I think is where the lost in translation may be happening. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Anytime. I'm heading out. Okay, sorry, I was just talking to one of my.
By the way, it's also a choice to be a lesbian too. By the way,
let me hit you.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. What choice? You mean in real life? Or you talking about the game?
Both.
There's a dialogue option in,
All right.
the actual game
They
that
are,
was not mentioned. But let me
nope.
get this question out. Hold on. Let me get this question out, right? You've been playing games for 30 years, right? And in my 30 years of playing games, we done had a fucking sentient raccoon with a cane that robs other people. We've had a pretty well-off white guy named Nathan Drake going on all type of treasure heists and plot armor up the thickens. We've had multiple iterations of Peter Parker. We've had all these other things, right? Would you have a problem if that continues to happen? Because that's what it's been. I can't tell you how many of them have been a strong woman and how many of them have been a well-written black character.
See, and this is an irritating conversation,
But the
right?
question
Because
you
I
just
knew this
asked
was
was
going to
the
come up,
exact
and I'm
same.
not.
But why
Why is it an
irritating
irritating conversation?
No, I'm gonna explain it to you. So here's the thing. I think you guys interpret this question incorrectly. I don't know if Sony did this for the next 10 years, right? My question to you is, would you guys feel that this is a forced event?
Why would it be a forced event?
Or something that
it's
is
just more people who exist. No one's gonna feel it's forced because no one's closeted about it. Gay people, black people exist, and yes,
but
they
you're
can be heroes,
but hold on, hold on. You shutting out other people in favor of another.
And how is that what's happening?
And you're saying that it's not.
Huh?
We're talking
Wait
about
wait a minute. Hold on, please.
We're talking about the example that I presented. If Sony for the next 10 years produced 10 IPs.
But you didn't say exclusively produce that. In either way, still, this is an underrepresented group. You hold on, I'm a shadow.
And we also have to factor in the specific genres of these 10 IPs. Is it a multiplayer? Is it a single player? Is it a shooter? Is it a strategy? Is it an RPG? Is it an ARPG? Is it a JRPG? So all of these factors also have to factor in as well. You can't just say just Sony 10 IPs and it just have all.
But Sony typically makes the storylines. But like, okay, so you're right.
If that is what they develop their protagonist and or antagonist to be, what is wrong with that? If that is their vision,
so like and that's fine, and you have a choice to make as a consumer. That's if you don't like it, you can leave. I get it. Mm-hmm. But like if Sony did this right for black characters, and this is why it's an irritating question. Just to answer your question, I mean irritating conversation, because this always gets thrown out there, and this is where the hive mind happens, right? Where you get a lot of people that instantly shut down the conversation. I looked at the gaming industry, like I said, for the 30 years, and you had people that were white. That's what they know. That's why the characters were white. That's what they know, and it also goes into the population as well.
That's actually not.
There's more white people,
but
I'm not saying as a blanketed statement, and I'm talking about for the last let's say 30 years. A lot of the times when we had corporations and games, again, they would create these particular characters because that's all, like Days Gone, for instance, right? They created this particular IP with a male character that was from Bend, Oregon. They lived there. That's what they know. And to me, it's better to just handle what you know than to try to go out and fuck up some and tokenize something else and fuck up that without knowing the culture. Now, you also have Sucker Punch that don't live in Japan and did a fucking phenomenal job encapsulating Japanese culture. So there's that too.
Okay, so I feel like very specifically, when someone is being a culture vulture or trying to cash in on someone else's culture, the simple answer here is to call that out when it happens. But when it's done in a proper way, I don't want to talk about the people who fuck it up. Now, don't get me wrong. If we say, hey, motherfucker, this is how you write a black character, or hey, look at this. This is how you represent a character. That's different, because then you're trying to show them, follow this example, because this is following in the right footsteps. But when we do have this proper representation, to turn around and be like, man, I just don't trust these corporations. Look, did they do it right or did they do it wrong? Right? Because I seem to recall, especially, oh man, it's so much to unpack here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to unpack it in the most reasonable way. That's why I'm trying to like respond to you when you say a lot of these things too, because I really want to get it in the core of that statement. You know what I mean? What you thinking, what you saying, what you feeling. I want to get it at that core, because if we start getting some well-written black characters that are male, female, whatever, right? Trans or otherwise, if the character is represented accurately, or like, especially some of these actors that are portraying these characters are gay, and y'all don't even take that into consideration, right? So when they're represented appropriately, this is not a conversation. This is not a new normal. This is just normal. What was abnormal was that these people were represented, that you couldn't be openly gay and be an actor, be openly gay, or just be black and be great, because every superhero is white, right? You can't be a black superhero, right? Like, this is normal. This shouldn't be even a what if scenario or a talk about, because it's not that deep. She's gay. It ain't taking shit away from the story, or maybe she's bi. It don't matter. It ain't taking shit from the story. Life is gonna go on, and you can choose to kiss the chick or not. So it really don't matter. But then to talk about going into the future, would it be a problem? Why would it be a problem? It's not. The next Uncharted could be a fucking female that's lesbian or a female that's straight. It don't matter. As long as the character is represented well and the story is well written and well fleshed out. I think that's the only thing we care about as gamers, and ultimately that the game is fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's a lot of conversation that kind of doesn't need to happen. But that's why I asked you, for the past 30 years, I know damn well you couldn't relate it to all these people, because you ain't all those people. We ain't been the white superheroes and white main characters of the past 30 years of gaming, right? I can tell you right now, I don't look shit like Link, Mario, Sly Cooper, Sonic the Hedgehog, fucking.
The thing is,
like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Like, yeah, maybe Shadow, but you know.
Well, the thing is, right? I feel like you shouldn't underrepresent somebody just to put another.
But okay, where do you? But here, let me tell you.
What are we underrepresenting? What are we underrepresenting?
A group of people who have had the main spotlight for the past 90 years.
It is, isn't it?
Where do we draw the line on what's considered underrepresenting, when people are playing catch up for folks that haven't been represented for the past 90 years in media as it is? Like, it's just a weird flex. It's like
we've been represented in Mass Effect as well.
It's just weird to me that we can.
You can be gay or lesbian in Mass Effect.
Let everybody. Okay, so everybody let Fred speak. I'm sorry, you jumped in.
Hold on, can I finish my thought real quick? I'm gonna shut up and let Fred go.
Yeah.
This is all I'm trying to say, right? If for the last 90 so years, right?
Damn, you're still talking,
the main
bro.
character, that's cool, bro. Slide love you too. That's cute. It's all good. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
At the end of the day, now it's 90 years. It's been white characters, all this other shit going on, white superheroes. Now we starting getting a bunch of black characters. Oh, we underrepresenting white people. Nothing y'all had the last 90 years. We ain't saying y'all can't still get creative, but goddamn, why we got to make it an issue when we starting to get good representation when it is good? That's just crazy to me. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut up. Slide, that's cute too, by the way. Love it.
All right, go on, Fred.
Well, we've been able to be gay or lesbian in video games for years now. Mm-hmm. Okay, like for instance, Mass Effect, The Outer Worlds. You can be gay or lesbian in Fallout 4. No one's ever made a fuss over that. Like, why is this such a problem in 2023 that Aloy is kissing a woman? It doesn't make any damn sense.
Is it a choice?
Yes, it's a choice. You can choose to kiss that woman. You don't have to kiss that woman if you don't want. If it makes you uncomfortable, or whatever it is, you don't have to kiss that damn woman.
I just want to make sure it's a choice, so we won't make it seem like we're shoving.
Yes, it's not being shoved down the player's throat. It's an option.
No disrespect to my
even in Dragon Age, you can be gay or lesbian if you choose to be. These choices are not being forced.
Oh, and spoiler alert to anybody here: if you look at a man kiss another man on a TV show and something happened below the belt, that show didn't make you gay. You that way. So the gay agenda is non-existent. If you see you go to the beach, you see a man and a woman, you want to fuck both of them, you bi. They didn't make you bi. So I just want to make that very fucking clear.
All the time.
People see straight people kiss all the time. That don't make them want to be straight. So
disgusting.
No, I want to say something.
Straight people kissing. Ew.
I was just gonna say something before I let everybody rock. I'm just gonna come here for a quick second and just say something. So
Who's talking? I'm sorry.
This is Dre. What up, everybody? So
What's going on?
here's my thing with this, bro. Y'all didn't we just watch the Last of Us TV show that came out recently?
Exactly. The Last of Us.
Did
wasn't that
anybody?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You can be gay or lesbian.
Did anyone have an issue
Was
with
that
that?
a choice to watch? I think it was a choice to watch that, wasn't it?
I'm probably guessing.
Oh, okay.
So if everyone saw that, and had no issue with that, what's the difference here? So everyone has an issue with this one, bro. Y'all need to find something else to bitch about, like that.
Maybe it's because Aloy's a mainstream character in Sony. Maybe that's why people are getting so upset.
Bro, the Last of Us had Joel and Ellie in there, and everybody wouldn't even come.
I think the breakdown of this, right? Because like I said before, I already stated. I don't want to go in circles. I'm getting hungry, but my particular concern is just I don't want token characters. That's all. But then she's not really token. It's just a fear of a corporation exploiting minorities for gain. That's I guess that's my particular issue.
My thing is that hold on one second. My thing is that PlayStation been having PlayStation been having LGBTQ characters in their games for years. So my next question is, why do you think PlayStation is using those? Why do you think that those people are token?
Wait, you broke up. Say again. What was
why
the last
do you
bit?
think those people are token? I said, why do you think that those people are tokens to you? Like what?
Oh, I never said that. I never said that they were.
I think the biggest confusion here is
I said fear of a corporate.
No, it's the way wording.
I think it's. Hold on. I feel like it's the way of how I'm describing it.
Oh.
Because Sony is a corporation,
okay,
they still have the ability to do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that they necessarily did it.
So I'm gonna tell you.
So you don't think they necessarily made LGBT characters as a token now?
No.
Oh.
So how do you feel about
what? You say now, Shadow, as if I've said this before. I've never stated within this last hour that they did.
We'll go back to the recording.
How do you feel about EA doing it, making a token?
It is recorded. It is recorded.
It's recorded and monitored for quality assurance and security.
Stop it with the customer service. But I like I said before, me particularly, like I said, it's I don't trust corporations. I already said this, and that's even recorded in the thread. I don't trust corporations in general. I don't want them exploiting my blackness just to try to get brownie points.
I think
that's what I was saying.
Potentially off-putting, and I can't speak for nobody else, but if you say a character is not token, you don't have a problem being a lesbian, I think it's just off-putting that the follow-up sentence immediately after that is, but I don't want token characters, because they just trying to throw gay people, black people in there for points. It's kind of off-putting. If it's followed up,
then the question is now, right? Do companies do this?
Okay, but still,
but that's
also an entirely different.
Are you able to? But are you
yes,
to answer that particular question?
There are organizations that do that, but you're piggybacking off a good representation to then say, I don't want token stuff. Okay, nigga, this is Black Panther. This ain't token shit. Black director, black characters, ain't none of that happening right here. So what you talking about, right? It's a read the room.
So rewind. So
they won an Academy Award too.
There's good representation, and then while you in this room, a good representation. Yeah, I don't want no token stuff. I don't want stuff just out there just because they want to make money off my blackness. That ain't what this is. So why is this the conversation happening? That's what's off-putting. It's off.
It may be off. It may be off-putting for you. Me and Shadow had this conversation a while ago. Get going, man.
I don't think it's just me. I can't speak for everybody, but
I didn't.
It's.
Well, I mean, she the girl that's in here, she mentioned already that I wouldn't let her in, and I didn't even see her. So
regardless,
I'm not. She didn't. There's no request.
Listen,
I can send her a request.
So listen.
I mean, I don't know if she'll join it.
So just understand this, man. Right? Nobody. I'm not like I said. I'm not saying you a bigot, but maybe it's that communication thing you just gotta kind of figure out, right? Because if you coming into, like I said, something with good representation, and the vibe is good, the room is good. it's kind of weird to be like, yeah, man, I don't want them using token. That's not what's happening. Let's go to a situation.
All right, let me listen.
Token black
So
characters in the
hold on, wait, because you had a lot of time. Let me go slide, and then
plenty. I keep saying
and she can say her thing.
I'll say this, yeah. Just because you see a good representation of lesbian couple on your screen, it doesn't undermine the straight players.
Oh, please, shut the fuck up. You know how many times as a girl I've had to
anybody.
play as a woman character with a fucking woman in my lap, having to kiss them as a girl? So, like, that shit's weird. Y'all act like that. Oh, wait. Oh, they have to kiss. Oh, my God. Like, y'all don't watch lesbian porn. You too. Like, y'all don't watch lesbian porn. Oh my God!
It's not even strays anymore.
Yeah, because you're a fucking bigot, so there's no strays. Like, oh my God, 2 girls kissing. When you watch lesbian porn and threesomes with people kissing, you're fucking weird.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to anybody that feels a certain way about 2 girls kissing, but watch lesbian porn. Sure. You watch lesbian porn, Sly? You watch lesbian porn?
Apply, let it fly, right?
Exactly, that shit.
I like to keep that.
You clutching your pearls and shit. Oh, they're kissing. They're fully clothed, but y'all watch videos with rappers getting fucking kissing girls and shit. But don't say a word. Like, y'all are fucking weird. Like, but y'all act like women, we don't play games where we have to be sitting, and even games you can fucking be a character like Code Vein. I'm a whole woman, but I have to deal with this big titty bitch all in my lap, looking at me lovingly, wanting me to save her ass. So
and corporations
want
points, but people conservative for points, but we don't talk about that.
That part. Always got to be a straight bitch. Like that. Let's talk about it. Ooh. Let's talk about it. Oh, that's what I thought.
Oh. And I love when people like to talk about it. They don't like to listen. They like to call that out too. I'm gonna call that out. People talk a whole lot. I got a timer, so we want to run that recording back. So we're gonna talk about time and the amount of people spend talking. Practice listening. No shots fired. If it don't apply, let it fly.
What is going on, honey?
These not just firing shots, man.
I'm this shit entertaining.
At the end of the day, it's a simple communication thing. Read the room. If everybody is enjoying black representation, lesbian representation, white representation, I don't care what you call it or what the context is. If we all enjoying it, this ain't the time to start talking about it, right? It's kind of like I ain't Taylor Swift fan, right?
But you can't gatekeep what people talk about, though.
It ain't gatekeeping. You got to understand people go respond to.
You're saying don't say it. You're saying don't say it.
Don't be surprised when people looking at you like, what the fuck? Like, why is we talking about that? That ain't what's going on.
That's gonna happen. I mean, that's
okay, and that's what's happening to you. So right now, you got people questioning why. You gotta understand. You gotta understand, JT. I don't give a fuck about anybody, right? You care about that.
That has anything. You're saying that, but you're mentioning like, that's what you hear. The reason why, right? The reason why was between. Hold on. The reason why I'm hosting the space is for you and Shadow. I mentioned this.
Yeah, no. But it ain't about my thing. Is I'm not trying
it's open, right?
I was just curious where you was coming from, and yeah, because I mean, it sounded weird when you said what you said. I mean, now since I got a better understanding, like, no disrespect. I'm not trying to come at you or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, since I got a better understanding of where you coming from, it still doesn't necessarily validate your original reasoning as to why you don't like to see what you're playing when you're still playing.
I did, but again, I never said I didn't like to see it.
So,
just say you don't like the corporation. So if you don't like the corporation,
I said I don't like. I said I've been very specific in what I said. I don't like characters to be tokenized.
All right,
minority.
So I'm gonna be very specific. With you.
So what classified? Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. What is the character that's not a minority? So she can't. So the character can't be a female. The character cannot be a part of LGBT. So what can the character be?
You're making an argument that never appeared. I know. You make an argument I never.
You don't want her to be.
You're making your argument.
That's all it is.
No, I never said that either.
That's what I get from the conversation.
No, I apologize for.
Why can't Alo just be a lesbian or whatever she wants to be?
I apologize for you. I apologize that you got that from there. I don't know what to tell you.
No, that's not what he's saying, Fred. I'm just trying to get a better understanding as to what do you want a character to be.
white, straight.
I want the character to be.
Hold on, let him speak.
I was just joking.
Go ahead.
I want the character to be what the creator intended. That's all.
Oh.
And guess what? The creator changed his mind, and now she's a lesbian or bisexual, or whatever she wants to be.
She did. They
That's
didn't.
what
They
happens
didn't,
with character development.
They didn't change their mind. She's still the same Aloy.
Okay, so she's still the same Aloy. So, who idea was it to give her a choice for her to kiss another woman in a video game? Who idea was it? Can't be us, because we're not on Horizon Forbidden West's payroll. We're not on Guerrilla Games payroll. So who idea is it?
So it's Guerrilla Games. But then your next comment would probably be that is the intention of the developer, right?
That's correct.
I never.
All right, look.
I never said that. You said okay, but you just.
I'm gonna say this real quick, right? You like Metal Gear Solid 2, and I know you like Metal Gear Solid 2 because we had a long conversation about it, right? I'm gonna just keep it a buck, bro. I'm not calling you a bigot. I'm not calling you a bigot. I'm not calling you a homophobic or anything like that. I'm not here to accuse you of that. I'm just letting you know that you followed up a statement after another statement. It's weird. Read the room. Vamp was fucking Fortune's dad. For anybody who ain't played Metal Gear Solid 2, the vampire motherfucker with the big ass knife, he was fucking the black lady's dad, and then he was like her main guy for later on in the goddamn story. And this was never a conversation. When
so was Bogan, and so was Bogan's and so was Ryden's grandfather.
Metal Gear Solid 2, we didn't talk about that. So I don't know why the Horizon thing even matters, right? The lower Metal Gear, what mattered with that was on the technical side, the military side, and the AI side, right? If that was the focus of that game, even with that being the direction he chose to go with those characters, that should be the same here. At the end of the day, all that representation shit is just dead in the water and it's fake outrage. What is that? Romanian or some shit? Ain't nobody over here crying about Romanian representation. Like, the dude was bi, nobody cared, life went on. Aloy is lesbian or bi or whatever, life is gonna move on. Nobody cares. But understand optics when you make a statement when it's like, I don't want token characters.
Again, I don't care about the room reading anything. That's not the point, though. But again, I listen, JT. I created this space to give context. That's what I was saying because I didn't like typing. And on top of it, and on top of it, I was working.
Yeah, and
So I wasn't completely like deeply into the conversation like that. Anyway, so again, I'm not trying to put Again, I get it.
Bro, open the space for a conversation.
I didn't think you were a bigot before.
This is crazy.
You gave more context to the conversation. I understand that you're not a bigot.
That was it. The purpose.
I'm just giving you feedback. I'm not telling you to care about anybody else.
I don't need feedback for something that was accomplished. The accomplishment is for you.
Hey, you know what?
This is to explain to give you more context. That was it.
Reality. People just find out the hard way. You a grown man. You a
reality is reality. That's the problem with this world anyway. Reality is reality. I can't jump outside right now and just start flying. Reality is reality. Period.
And communication is reality. So effective communication. And if you don't want feedback,
it is again.
It was not. So my point is, I'm gonna shut up. It ain't for you to care about what people think. It's just so that you understand where there was a misunderstanding. I don't care if you don't care. You explain what you explained and how you feel about it. I explained what I explained and how I feel about it. At the end of the day, I've made myself clear for the last hour and 10 minutes. What I'm saying right
I get what you're saying. That I already said what I said. I'm just wrapping this room up. That's all I'm doing.
Look, bro.
Oh, you doubling down?
The feedback.
And I'm doubling down on there. I don't care about feedback. I don't want
nobody
feedback.
Cares.
The thing is,
not about you caring. It was a conversation.
Right, but you're giving me feedback. You're giving me feedback, and I'm telling you, I don't care about feedback.
Good for you.
JT, just drop it. JT, just drop it. JT, just drop it. Just drop it.
Yeah, it's just all this was just
going in around into circles and circles.
All this was just
still gonna play Horizon Forbidden West
over and over and over and over, and I'm about to play it as I speak. And that's the end of
my
it.
point. So he's
it's
still
not.
gonna
So
love
it was.
Aloy kissing, other women because there is a choice for you to do that, and I totally get it. Make sure you get your money's worth, and then enjoy the DLC.
Wait, there's a
Let
choice.
us know how you like it.
There is a choice.
Yeah, the game gives you 3 different types of ways, like they normally do.
Aloy about to have a
Of handling
girlfriend in
the
my
story.
stage. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, what? So I can choose Aloy to kiss
Yep.
a man.
Aloy about to be booed up.
Aloy
No.
about to get some of them.
So
Yeah.
the person that she's over, she's in the DLC, and she's not with the other people that she's normally with. So she met her, and she likes. I already mentioned like when the DLC. Well, at the end of Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm-hmm.
And this in general, what I noticed about Aloy, I think she's attracted to really, to be honest with you, intelligent people. More so than anything. I think that's what really gets her going. But and people that don't simp for her as well. And I think that irritates her as when people are simping for her. Look, you can have your own perspective as to... Huh?
Yo, isn't it crazy she had to...
character.
I would...
Yo.
I'm playing. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't understand what it's like to have a pussy. So I'm just gonna throw that out. Because communication is effective, and we all heard that.
You can buy one. You can buy one.
Ain't no damn real shit.
It's artificial. Well, I'm sorry.
I don't want no tokenized pussy.
You can get one put in.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about getting one of my damn
Get some titties too while you're at it.
No, all I'm saying is
no
disrespect.
No, not for you.
And all I'm saying in general, like in terms of this, I'll double down on what I said. I don't have any problem with it. I just have problems with corporations. That's pretty much it. Whether you
you have a problem with corporation normalizing LGBT activities.
I can't understand. I can't hear you guys. You're talking together. Say again.
I said you have a problem with LGBT.
No, why do I don't understand why people say that?
Let him finish.
You have a problem with
just make your own argument. You have a problem with
LGBT activities.
You have a problem with waffles and pancakes. And I'm like, that's not even a part of it.
He's talking about the corporation.
There's no fucking point talking to this nigga any goddamn way.
Listen, let me say this.
I just told y'all to drop it.
No, he said that you have a problem with LGBT. Who the fuck said this? Nobody said this.
I'm gonna ask you the question, right? You just let me finish.
I was trying to clarify that I was gonna say, goddammit, that he has problems with the corporation fucking normalizing LGBT in video games. That's all it is.
No.
It's trying to be normalized and you don't like it. Plain and fucking simple.
You're inserting that shit. I said tokenized people from minority groups.
How is tokenizing Asian woman as being a lesbian as being tokenized? How is that tokenizing?
The idea about LGBT fucking community. I never said anything about them. Goodness gracious.
Well, you like it or not, she's LGBT now. That's all that matters.
She's been that way.
Yes, it doesn't matter in your eyes. It doesn't matter. But in many people's eyes, it does matter that they have representation.
This is the interesting thing about Twitter, yo. Like when somebody mentioned this shit about Twitter, right? About Twitter, literally, you can say one thing, and somebody could just make up something completely different. That is fucking facts.
Right, well,
fuck say anything about that community.
Here's the thing.
I said minorities.
Okay, let me ask you this, right? One of the things that was stated, you do not like the tokenization of minority groups, correct, right? So basically, when
gay people are minority. What are you talking about? Not you specifically.
Let's cut all the bullshit and let's get to the core of a problem, right? We do not like when corporations make a token out of being gay, black, lesbian, or whatever minority group. Correct? Are we all on the same page, right? Okay, listen, give me 5 examples of corporations doing that since it's a problem.
Ooh.
I would say, well, first of all, that Budweiser thing.
Who the fuck drinks Budweiser in 2023? Oh,
that doesn't matter. That's an example.
No, let him go. That's what
I don't think people drink beer in general.
Let's do this.
I don't think that people drink beers.
Not Budweiser. It was Bud Light, but let's
whatever Bud Light. That's how much we don't give a fuck about it. Okay, Bud Light, Budweiser. Okay,
we should identify it. It should be a token thing.
So let me ask you this: is it shoehorned into Mass Effect?
Hold on, JP, let him finish his 5.
Is it shoehorned into Mass Effect.
Hold
I
on,
would
Yeah,
add
there's
that
there,
group.
there's
He got one. Hold
I'm
on.
Let
Because
Alyssa
because
finish.
female shepherd can kiss
Hold on,
Liara.
Fred.
So is
said
that
that.
we
true?
already we already
that.
we
I
already
said
covered
that.
that.
Hold
We've
on,
been
Fred.
did that shit.
Let Alyssa
Well, I
go
wasn't here
ahead.
for that.
Well,
Yeah, we
that's
said that.
unfortunate. We already said that. And Bully.
All right, so one Bud Light.
Bully was also another one. Gillette.
Who?
You said Gillette?
Okay, 2 Gillette. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, I can go on, but it is definitely difficult.
I just want 5. I don't want
because
they're
not. I get it, but they're not. A lot of these companies are not in my
but
world.
I just want 5.
That I give a
There's
fuck
a good
about.
few. There's a good few.
There's a good few, but I don't use them. I don't even use Gillette. To be honest with you, they're the things.
But I just want 5.
You use Philips Norelco because there's more straight people using Philips Norelco than Gillette.
I mean, I just want to know 5 though. We got Bud
Yeah,
Light. We got
Gillette.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So are you? So again, we've already established, JT, right? That corporations do it, and you said that they do, correct?
Yeah, I would agree that they
right.
do.
No. My question to you is: we already established that, right? Then what the fuck are we doing? Then what the fuck are we doing? Then what are we? But what are we doing? If we already established, if we already established that the corporations do it, then what the fuck are we doing?
Let me hit you with a follow-up question then, right?
Let's not act like corporations don't do it though.
Like for real.
To sell their beer. Am I led to believe that gay people weren't drinking that piss beer before? Because then at that point,
what the fuck they're doing? I don't know. I don't get it.
They've had the American flag on their shit. Not everybody is a patriot. Not everybody loves America.
The CEO, right?
They've had other promotions on that beer that don't always go for everything.
Okay, so I can't yell too much where I'm at. Go ahead. So I will say the what do you call it? The HR or whoever handles the whole advertisements and stuff like that for Budweiser deliberately stated that she was going to do that.
Public relations.
Public relations. So yeah, she deliberately stated she was going after those people.
Okay.
Because she felt like she needed to be more inclusive. So that is a deliberate thing. That's just one of them.
So
but yes.
If you have a customer base, speaking from a business perspective, from a money-making perspective, not a funny one, a money one, right? If you have a consumer base that happens to be a particular audience, why is that a token thing if you then choose to promote to that group? Because it's not like gay people are like, oh shit, it's a rainbow flag on this piss beer. Honey, let's go get a case of Bud Light.
But Bud Light is a very interesting case study for this particular topic, right? Because their sales has been plummeting. And they needed something to spike it. They're fucking PR chicks. No, they've been in decline for a while. So since you don't know this,
go for it.
I implore you to look that up.
So because I don't know, so check this out, right?
You're assuming that they were you're assuming that they were okay with it, and then they just randomly did this for no reason. They did it.
There's a flag on the can of beer. Have you actually met a LGBTQ whatever person?
Yes, I do have somebody here. They don't do Twitter. Yes, I'll screenshot that conversation too.
Why can you speak for them? What are they upset about that the Bud Light can't happen?
No, I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak to nobody.
Okay, so let me say this, right? Because this is something that's interesting, right? If you did not know, the American
but I can screenshot.
Okay.
But I can screenshot
You're
that conversation for sure.
All right, so where's the receipt? Where is
plates and other bullshit. It's not supposed to be worn like some type of mascot, right? Because we're supposed to hold the American flag with respect and honor, right? Yet it's on beer cans, yet it's on a bunch of other shit, and that's not a token patriotism. But when it's the gay flag or LGBT flag, it's a token thing, right? It's not, oh yeah, let me appeal to your patriot side. You love the troops. Man, motherfucker, I can't tell you, and I'm not calling you a motherfucker, right? I'm just speaking, right? I can't tell you a single time something that Bud Light or any other corporation has funded has come to the troops. But I don't hear us talking about that being a token thing. But whenever it's dealing with
maybe it is. Maybe it is. Twitter's not a huge place. But Twitter's not a huge. But Twitter's not a huge. But Twitter's not a huge place either. So like,
so if we put ML King on some shit, all of a sudden it's a token thing and not an ability for me to say, oh, who was this black dude on this can? Oh shit, civil rights. I didn't hear about that in school because they removing these school books from us. That just gave me a perspective on something I didn't know anything to fuck about. That's not a possibility, right? No, it's just some token shit, right? So I'm just trying to make it make sense because for you to bring it up
This
as a
seems like a
problem,
this seems like this seems like this seems like a this seems like a
for
morale
you to bring it up,
high horse
you can
situation.
call it what you want. You can believe what you want. But I speak in reality, I speak in facts, and I speak in objectivity. Because the objectivity fact of the matter is, you said that this thing was a problem, but yet you couldn't give me 5 examples off the top of your head.
I said no. Again, you're see what you're doing is moving that goalpost.
I'm not moving the
we
goalpost.
already started. We already started this conversation and stated do companies. We already started this conversation and stated do companies
corporations
tokenize
token shit? Yes.
And you said yes. That's the end of that discussion though, and that's the end of the discussion. It should be
because there's
because we all know that it exists.
Okay, I gave you one. You didn't give me one legitimate one.
I gave you two. I gave you two. I gave you two.
Something that put an item on a product.
It doesn't matter. Tokenization is tokenization or whatever, virtual signaling or whatever the case is.
You can talk over me like Cardi B all you want. It don't change.
This conversation is interesting.
At the end of the day,
you don't want to see what you want to do is be on a high horse here. That's what you want to do. That's the problem here. So we already heard you say this, and you spoke a lot during this space as well. A lot.
And you didn't listen a lot. So too easy.
No. We already discussed all of this stuff that you were saying. That's why people are saying that we're going around in circles.
But they don't hear.
Yeah, that's you.
Then why can't
that's what's happening with you.
You gave
that's what you. I don't need to.
How about this then? Off here 2 examples. Did you have a problem with any other promotion Bud has?
I don't use Gillette. I don't use Gillette. This is not about a moral high ground, bro. This is about, if you stop talking over me, you would understand and hear it. Because that's what you've been doing the whole fucking time. You've been doing that shit. I only care about the shit that is around me, that is affect me. That's it. I don't drink piss beer. I don't use Gillette, and I don't use.
So can you give me
that affects me because I play the game.
Can you give me an example of one that is a corporation? If it's a black man, right?
If the game is taking my time, it is affecting me. So there's that.
Not in a negative way.
Which one is affecting you?
It doesn't matter. It's still affecting me, whether positive or negative.
And you're going to continue to play, right?
Yeah, but I never had a problem. But I never had a problem. But I never had a problem. Nor did I ever say.
I watched that cutscene with pants down.
But Alo is the token though.
Hey, what?
I never said. You calling her a token?
Say?
No. What? You just wow.
Right. So in the
this place is recorded.
Right? If you
I can't even hear anything.
You don't use Gillette. What is the one? What is the one? Right? Do you feel like Cleveland Brown is a bad representation? Because you could have brought that up if you felt like it was a bad one. I'm just trying to get something that
you're not trying to already mention it, and you're not trying to get that. So what you're trying to do is trying to use a moral high ground. That's what you're trying to do. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Answer that question.
This. See, I thought that I was going to make a space to give more context, and then this is becoming a situation, and this is a situation that you still want to be right.
man on woman sex in front of my face for decades and
For
centuries
years,
on this man on woman shit. Man and woman have been throwing it in my face. Every fucking video game. Man and a woman, every fucking video game. What the flying fuck?
And a man and a giant.
Master Chief wanted to fuck Cortana.
What about the giant
the
one?
upset over Pixels. Y'all main character wanted to fuck Pixels. And nobody mad about that shit. This whole
tired of all this hetero shit.
Well,
hetero
they might have had an attachment in that suit. We don't know.
And if I hear somebody talk about the fucking
what kind of attachment would that be?
Goddamn time,
I don't know.
All right. Before we end it,
come the fuck out for being homophobic because you're afraid to be known as gay. Fuck that shit.
Hold on, Oni.
90% of gamers on this goddamn community, but people posting all they body pics. Who you posting it for? It's all men here. Let's just keep it a buck.
And I'm gay as fuck.
Wait.
Yeah,
are you trying to do it? Are you trying to do it straight?
You gotta be careful with me because I'm always gonna say what's on my mind.
If it don't apply, let it fly.
But you saying something very. You saying something very specific. Like if you're gonna be very direct, be direct. What you trying to say?
Oh no, I'm always direct. That ain't it.
I don't think you're direct enough. What you trying to say?
That is kind of gay.
Oh
hey,
no, we're not going to
do
it.
It's not. Because what we're not about to do is put shit in my mouth. I ain't never been afraid to let a motherfucker know.
Wait a minute.
And anybody who know me know that. But we ain't about to derail it for an argument. I said
I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say.
And a whole lot of feelings. So it ain't no you trying to find out what I'm trying to say. Because I'm telling you right now, grown man to grown man. If I was calling you gay, I call you gay. But that ain't what I'm doing.
But you're saying that when somebody but you're saying that way. But what you're saying that that sounds like a hell of a fucking stray. So if you're gonna say something, you wanna really say it. Go ahead and say it. You mean to tell me just because I'm a fitness instructor, I can't post it? That's what you're saying? Are you being a bigot?
Oh my God.
Are you being a bigot? What you doing here? What you doing here? You being a bigot? Bigot. He being a piglet. He being a piglet.
You can't even say it right. You saying a piglet.
I know what I'm saying. He's being a piglet.
Who like to be openly homophobic because they closeted gay. But what I find ironic is you trying to be.
That's a nigga in the piglet.
Wait a minute.
That's a leap. That's a whole ass leap in bounds, yo. That's crazy.
So we gonna talk about how people don't be homophobic when they in the closet? Nah, let's not act like that's not a thing in the.
All right. Anyway, no. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Oni, no, you're speaking nonsense. Oni, go ahead.
You couldn't even give me
Look, I'm gonna have to mute you because you keep talking. I'm sorry about that. Oni, go on.
Exactly.
All right. I feel like the relationship between Aloy and Seika would actually enhance the story, not by the way that everybody's thinking, but more like the fact that the other relationships that Aloy has within her group. I don't know if anyone else has saw it within like the first two games, but I know for a fact Aaron has a massive crush on Aloy. To know the fact that she actually chose to know the fact that if Aaron finds out that she chose a woman, I honestly think that would just throw him off the edge. Because if you remember during the first part, Aaron was incredibly pissed off that Aloy just left. Aloy just left the party that that the Sun King gave her, and she just left without even saying a word. Aaron went to find her and was completely pissed off at her that she just left.
That's the dude, right? Don't they have like a little brother, big sister situation?
No, I don't. There is people that actually did see that, but there's also people there. I'm in the group that's like, oh, Aaron is actually like more.
I agree with that.
How old is Aaron?
I believe that Aaron does like
40s.
Aloy.
Aaron's in his 40s.
And I believe that the Sun King also likes Aloy.
No, that nigga's 40, bro.
No,
he do look old though. He look old.
He does look old, but from all the interactions I've played, I've played Zero Dawn and Forbidden West multiple times. I know for a fact that Aaron actually has a massive crush on Aloy. How he just tries to throw himself and just wants to be in service to Aloy the entire time. He wants to help her, and she knows it. Now there is also others like the King Avid. Avad from the Sun King, or what used to. I honestly thought that Varl and Ayla would probably hook up, but we already know what happens.
Don't.
Yeah, we already know what happens.
You're
to Varl,
walking a slippery slope now.
The game's been out for a year.
That's the difference.
Spoilers are fine.
I know some
of these Xbox might buy, these Xbots might buy this, so give them a chance.
Either way, but like I thought Varro, there was also that one Stitcher boy from the first game, but I don't think that she would ever go with him.
I think that he was a pedophile. Honestly.
Probably, but at the same time, but you also have to remember, this is Aloy's nature is not she's not the type. We've heard it from Tilda. We already know that Aloy is the clone of Elizabeth Sobek. Elizabeth Sobek, her nature was just that she actually liked other people. She liked people. She had her own group of friends, but she would ditch them to do something else that would help the greater amount of people, no matter what it was. Like I said, Aloy ditched her party. She didn't care what happened. She just was like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. They don't need to worry about me. I'm going to go out and do what I need to do. Basically, just like Spider-Man. They both drop everything and then they go help the greater good. They don't care. They care, but at the same time, they don't. So I feel like we already know what's going to happen with their relationship. It's just that Aloy is going to like ditch Seika for something in the distant future, just for something, to go out and help the greater good. Because that's the same. Elizabeth Sobek did that to Tilda.
Do you think Elizabeth Sobek would have cared about 30 frames per second?
I don't even know if she would have that in her time period.
Got it.
So
I think that Elizabeth Sobek would have cared about 30 FPS gaming because she was a computer scientist, and tech people do care about that shit.
That checks out.
Yes. But this is I'm interested to see
what the story goes. Guys, I just want to say this.
I'm just having a little fun on this, but I'm sorry.
You guys already had your time. I hope you guys enjoyed the space.
It was one of the more interesting ones, I'll tell you that.
It was
honestly, this was kind of fun, honestly.
I like to put my little paprika, you know what I mean? Get everybody
might be a bit
riled up. If anybody knows me, they know that I'm a troublemaker, the low-key troublemaker. So if anybody already knows me,
you be talking about half the time.
Oh, please. Anyway,
I mean, my point was just to show I wasn't calling you a goddamn big. We got through all that, and then it kind of devolved into everything else. Because when we had
if it looked like a duck,
you said I was accusing you of something. I'm like, I ain't accusing you of shit. I'm trying to get you to say. I'm trying to understand what you're saying because I read it and it wasn't making sense. And then I explained how that perspective came off because of communication. It ain't feedback you have to take. It ain't feedback you have to care about. But that's how that can happen. You feel what I'm saying? That's really like the gist of it. It's not even that deep, right? Clearly, you don't hate lesbian people. Clearly, you don't hate this, but you do have some strong emotions about people being used in a token.
Yeah, I think that's.
And I'm not gonna hold it against you that you don't have 5 examples off the top of your head, but that's another thing too, right?
I can.
If we have
I
a problem
give you the 5 examples, but
we
again,
should be very educated to those problems, right? Like if I'm gonna say
like,
that
I'm not going to check.
I should know civil
rights. But I'm not going to check all the. Hold on. I'm not going to check all the boxes and looking for fucking things that annoy me. Again.
But it's kind of like
but I'm only going to talk about.
They care about black people, but they can't even speak to one black problem, right?
Yeah, but that's a false equivalency. That's not what this is, though.
Understand the perspective can come off that way, right? And you ain't got.
Yeah, but like I'm only going to be concerned about what I'm concerned about. What serious question?
I have a genuine serious question. What is the difference between exploitation and representation?
Like, that's what I asked earlier.
There's a massive difference, Beam. That's what he's talking about. It's a massive difference.
Okay, and I want to know what's the difference. Like, how can you tell the difference in this situation that this is exploitation?
It's in a real word, right? Exploitation means to exploit.
No, television. What he's asking, though, like on a serious note, is where do you draw the line that this is a token and this is representation? And that's what I asked earlier, and I did not get that answer.
I feel that it's a representation, honestly.
The game not knowing that
but if they don't want to feel that way, fuck them, you know?
I mean...
But here's the thing. My thing with that is, if you understood how much homosexuality is in everything you do in your day-to-day life, every show you watch, every piece of music you listen to, every piece of clothing you're wearing, there is homosexuality behind that.
Man, go have a conversation with a motherfucker in the Navy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that is all there. Now, are you
That's one of my that's one of
because you see
no, that's one of my friends. One of my friends is he's in the Navy. He be telling me all sorts of crazy shit, but like crazy escapades. But anyway, this is all for our entertainment and shit like that. And this was also to I don't like typing, to be honest with you. Anybody know me? I don't text.
I don't like to type
Me either.
either.
Typing leaves too much room for misunderstanding. I prefer to have to talk.
Not even just that. I just don't like typing. I mean, that too.
I prefer a keyboard though, because I type fast as fuck. Gotta do that admin shit and shit. But no, man, just on the realest shit though, man. Like just straight up, bro. Like on the realest shit. At the end of the goddamn day, man. I get it if you don't care about feedback, you don't care about stuff. Just understand when you speak and when you say stuff, how it does affect other people for better or worse. At the end of the day, they are just words. So if somebody's trying to act like you ruined their fucking life, I'm not gonna say I agree with that. But just be cognizant of it, because if you are who you are and you want to represent yourself as yourself, unless you just don't give a fuck or you're a troll, then that's all you. But if you're saying this is your character, this is who you are, try to be cognizant of expressing that in good conversation. And if somebody don't want to hear what you got to say, because I agree with you, a lot of Twitter is, you said you like pancakes, oh, you don't like waffles, right? I agree with you. There's a lot of people that do that. But when that's not happening, try to understand.
We went into a circle, and I've already mentioned it, but I will say this. No, I mean, I didn't even, to be honest with you, I'm going to be real honest with you. I didn't think anybody was going to really come to spaces like this. I truthfully thought it was going to be like 4 or 5 people, and then this happened. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, typically we prefer to do a Discord call if you don't want a bunch of people.
No. When it comes into like LGBT like type of scenarios or whatever, like it would be weird if I'm not involved. You know what I'm saying? Because like we've gone through so much to get to where we are today. Because let's just keep it 100. None of this shit wouldn't even be thought the fuck of like 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, just expressing, myself. I'm not pushing any agenda towards anybody. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. Y'all think how y'all want to think, and that's fine. That's cool. But I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from. That's not what you think it is. So.
And likewise, yeah. I never thought that you were pushing any agenda, truthfully. So you had a conversation. You were like, what does that have to do with the gameplay? And I'm like, well, I like the gameplay, but I also
honestly,
like the story.
This is gonna go over. That's gonna go over their heads regardless.
I do.
I mean, if it do, it do. If it don't, it don't. Then I'm not trying to convince, but I'm trying to educate it. If that's up to them, bro. Like I'm not about to sit up here and keep kissing your ass. I'm about to fucking tell you what the fuck you can or can't do. You could do whatever the fuck you want at the end of the day, but I'm just letting you know, my nigga, you sound low-key kind of ignorant. So when people do come for you, don't say that I didn't warn you, because I'm being that friend that lets you know, like, hey, look, what you saying, that's not what it is. So if anybody comes for you from this point forward, don't act surprised.
Yep.
I feel like in general, right? And it shouldn't be ignorant or any type of conversation, to be honest with you. I think,
for sure.
I think I made myself very clear and doubled down to it like 18 times. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't like corporations doing things like exploitation. And I think that's the end of the story.
I just pray and hope that you survive June. That's all I'm saying.
The only thing I'm
saying, it's going to be that, but kicking into overdrive. So,
I just hope that you survive June. I want to say something, right? Very quickly, in June, a lot of these corporations changed to a LGBTQ flag, right? And then for certain nations where that's not a part of their culture, they do not change that, right? That is an example you could have used when I asked, and that is something that we can talk about and maybe bring up when people do this shit for literally to sell a product or get advertisement, right? So that's like a clear reason.
That's a slippery slope too.
But that is, and guess what? It's a slippery slope, but it don't mean we can't have an educational conversation. But that is something where if you like, hey, that's some token shit, yeah. But it's weird. Like Shadow was just telling you, and like I told you with the. I mean,
to prevent any drama in June, I'm going to spoil this for you guys right now. Lilith from Diablo 4 is also a lesbian. I just want to get that out there, get it out of the way. Let's argue about it now rather than later.
Are you sure? Because then she had sex with that one angel and created a baby, and she
maybe
killed her
bi.
baby. And
I would pretty sure she's bisexual, but
yeah, she has to be bisexual. But that still applies.
Well, one thing that does bother me is that Pride is just during June. Pride LGBTQ is just heavily monetized. It's just I just